On the last episode of the Land Tax Uganda podcast, we had the pleasure of hosting the manager, Field Services, Northern Region Customs, Abe Mawerere, and he told us a thing or two about the work that they do, especially when it comes to the area of trade facilitation. Now, he reckoned that there are some Ugandans who often use improper channels to get their goods into Uganda. Now, the gentleman we are hosting today is going to take care of that side of business without event that someone has made an attempt to bring in goods. What happens in that space? How is URA actually combating that and more on this particular episode of the Land Tax Uganda podcast? And we do have the pleasure of having this conversation with the one and only Simon, Manager Simon. Yes. Good morning to you.
Good morning, someone.
It is indeed a pleasure to have you on set to finally have this conversation.
Pleasure to have you here in Northern Region. It's always good to interact with you.
Who is Simon?
Yes, I am Simon Tumwesigye Karokora, and I'm the Manager Customs Enforcement and Border Control for Northern Region. Northern Region starts from Karuma, go through Pakwach. We have 15 stations in Northern Region. Karuma, Pakwach, Gori, Padea, Vura, Lia, Birijako, Oraba. That is for West Nile and Arua, and Fuji. Then you come to East Nile. So Northern Region takes care of East Nile and West Nile. East Nile, we have Elegu, which is the biggest exit point, or call it border between South Sudan and Uganda. We have Ngomoromo, we have Awinorio, we have Madiope, we have Good Logistics Hub, Konakamdi, yes, and Karuma Customs Station. So that's how we move around the Northern Region.
That's quite vast space.
Yeah.
For a second there, I thought you were actually saying Awilo no Ngoma. Only to hear that you were saying something completely different. It's a place, not a person. For someone who's tuned in and you're starting to wonder the way I was.
Yes.
But jokes aside, the space is big.
Yes, big.
And it has a couple of porous points. How are you dealing with that?
The space is very, very big. We have the stretch from Bogota that I explained it. We have counted over 600 porous points, both motorable and non-motorable. Those which are people use they walk the
Motorable and footerable.
and footerable. Yes, of course, you have parts of border borders, you have where vehicles can actually pass, you have those ones where people can just walk. It's vast. So we use a lot of intelligence. First of all, we have partnered with the government structure of intelligence. From the parish, to the Gomborora, we have tried to partner with them to get us intelligence. On top of us developing our own intelligence system, where we recruit informers to give us information in those areas. And I will tell you that we have been successful in that area. And of course, we engage with people. We engage with the community. Through those engagements, you share your numbers, you share your contacts, you call them to come to office. You talk to business community, the people who are disturbed by smuggling, and you keep getting information. So through intelligence, we're able to monitor. We might not be there 100%, but we are trying. Of course, with partnerships as well from our neighboring countries, the enforcement of South Sudan, the enforcement of DRC.
I should have asked this question first. I don't even know why I'm going to ask this question next, but let me ask it anyway. How often does smuggling manifest itself? What are the common types that you interface with?
We mainly interface with the two types. One is outright. Someone going out with intentions of dodging all customs visited areas and passing through those panya routes, dodging every control. And then we have those who want to come through the system but conceal, right, or misdeclare or underdeclare. Like if you like you said earlier, you had an engagement with a manager field service, and I think he could have told you that they manage the normal flow system.
Yes.
But within that normal flow, you have those who want to misdeclare. If you have a shirt like that, because it's something else. If he has shoes, because of kids' shoes when they actually adult shoes, because he knows that under there the value is going to be different. If the kid's shoe is $1, the adult shoes will be about $3. So he's dodging $2. So it is both outright someone who sets out to go and smuggle, to dodge every control, dodge every border, dodge every process.
Commando style.
Up to the shop, up to the premises, up to the end point. But then this one wants to show that he's in the system, but he tries to beat you within the system. So those are the main ways how smuggling and illicit trade manifests itself.
What are the most smuggled goods? What are those things that feature prominently?
I will tell you that all goods which are moving in the season, their potential to smuggling. But in this region mainly, we see a lot of cigarettes. The brand mainly is so much cigarettes. We have cigarettes which are manufactured in South Sudan, and we have those which are manufactured in Uganda, which transit, which are exported to South Sudan. Like when it reaches there, it comes, people smuggle it back. We have fuel, especially petrol, to what we call PMS. It is big. I think cigarettes and fuel are the biggest items that we deal with, and then cooking oil. Butu. So then of course rice and sugar and soap. We had powdered milk. Those are the main ones that we deal with. We get on a daily every intersection. You find you have those ones.
Some of them are quite surprising.
Yes.
So
Yes. You see, we South Sudan and DRC, they are growing. They are growing economies, but their tax structures are different from ours. The controls are different from ours. So the business community takes advantage of that. For example, when we have goods that are manufactured in Uganda and they're exported, when they're manufactured and being exported, one, there are those ones when you produce, you pay and you consume, you pay the local excise. But when you export, you come and claim your VAT
from URA.
URA pays you. So we have that feeling that some of the manufacturers, export, they pass through the normal channel of doing business. They come here, we verify, you see the goods, they exit, and then they find ways of bringing them back through those unvisited routes. And then, of course, URA pays them VAT claim.
The refund, which they are entitled to as exporters.
Exactly. So it is a game, it's a challenge that we are trying to to handle. And of course, the other thing is, because of the nature of these economies I talked about and the controls therein, when the goods transit from say China, Dubai, wherever, we have goods such as, for example, cooking oil, and maybe powdered milk. They're manufactured in Uganda. So if you're going to import from outside countries or outside partner states, you're charging higher import duty, 100%, 70% rice.
To some people, as Abbe actually talked about.
Yes. So it is difficult to pay that and then sell in Uganda. So they transit and pass, for example, pass Padea, pass wherever, and we go to the other side of the or neighboring countries. Now, they actually we term it as a round tripping. They bring them back to dodge every place of control and find themselves in the market. So they can be able to sell and compete with the Ugandan produced goods.
In essence, they pretend to be going to their country.
Exactly. But they go.
Only for them to
They
sell.
go, they exit. They exit. Here we validate to exit them, we verify and exit. The other side, the tax rates of South Sudan are low. So it's an incentive to them. They can actually go on this side and pay the taxes, and government allows the goods in their country. But then they find their way of coming back here. So that's what we battle with every day.
For someone who's tuned in and they're wondering, some people don't actually look at this for the problem that it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For someone who is looking at it and they are probably persuaded to be inclined towards supporting the smuggler, speak to that person about the harm that smuggling actually gives this country.
Thank you so much. The harm smuggling gives this country is big. And that's why we are there to make sure that we suppress it. Number one, it brings unfair competition in the economy and the market. Like I said, if someone has rice in his shop and he's selling it at 6,000 after paying tax, and you bring your rice, which has got you paid 70%. Let me say you brought it outside, from South Pakistan, and he paid his taxes, and he's selling it at 6,000 Ghanaian shillings, and you go and translate and bring it back into Uganda, the same rice, and he's selling it at 5,000 shillings. One, it's unfair competition, and of course, it affects us in revenue collection. Because you who has paid taxes, you're going to take long to bring another container because you're not going to be able to sell. You have to first buy from the other one,
Selling cheaper.
but the same price. So it delays us in getting revenue. It delays government, it delays revenue. But of course, the other harm is that it has those the controls of government that are harmful. The issue is security. Security. When you're in those borderlines and those gazetted routes and you see what is coming in, you actually do not know what is coming in. Anyone can bring in anything. You can't know. We have some areas which are not stable at the moment, both in South Sudan and the DRC. You can't know what will come in case of any operational issues, mistakes we have had. We have had cases of injuries and death and all that. So it's very unfortunate, but it brings up that environment where you have to chase, or you have to impound. People lose capital, like I said, and death. It is one other risk, and also, like I said, people lose custody. It is one other risk. Another neighbor, building up and saying
Blossoming.
They say, get me out. It's our culture. For example, in Western Ireland and all that, they say it's our culture, it's our profession. So someone wakes up in the morning, I've had those experiences. He goes to the bank and goes to the DRC to buy a container or a truck of, those cosmetics that are banned, and he accepts him. Sometimes it's his first time of trying out, and he cries and say, "Aloni yange wanange, send an that kind of thing." Because he has been interested by someone who is smuggling, and maybe has made 1, 2, 3 routes and has made money. But this one, you catch him.
Well,
Even if you catch him on the 3rd, 4th, 5th time, they lose out of capital. So those are some of the problems or the harm that smuggling brings to our people in the country.
Beyond the capital, what other repercussions does the smuggler face once you have grabbed him like this?
Of course, when we grab him, we take him through our normal offense management process, prosecution. We will get him. We cannot mishandle him. We know there is a potential taxpayer when he is rehabilitated. So we speak to him. We ask him to give us, the whole story of his business, of his transaction through a statement. We give him a seizure notice. He accepts the offense. In most cases, we take them for prosecution, so that it goes through the normal process of court, and court decides from what to do the smuggler. But here, in some other cases, when you stop the vehicle or they see you before, they abandon the things and they run away. They scatter. In most cases. Recently, we had one in Aroa who saw us. He left the vehicle moving and he ran away. He jumped out of the vehicle. So in that case, we have the goods, we have the vehicle or the means of conveyance, but we don't have
the
counterfeit. So we wait. The law tells us to hold on until the person, the client, our good client, potential good client comes to our offices to claim his goods, because the goods are his. All we need is him to come.
The goods are his. The vehicle is
his. Vehicle, actually, most of the people say then the vehicle has already paid taxes, but he has committed an offense. So we wait for them to come in and claim them, so they can pay their taxes and penalties, and or they go through the process of prosecution, and we release them. So in most cases they don't show up. So they run away and they don't come out. So wait for the 30 days.
interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. Now you've been here for a bit now, having served in other regions, Eastern, Western, everywhere. You've really done the work. But interestingly, the time that you have so far spent here has coincided with what I can call normal times. We've not had a serious incident in the past couple of months where we are having a URA having an altercation with the community or a run-in for that matter. What could you attribute that to?
That, first of all, we thank God. We thank God that we in that zone where we have no confrontations. There are some pockets. But we handle them well. But I would say it has been due to the approach that we took. One, I talked earlier on about the intelligence. We have developed and patterned with the intelligence authorities, the government, to clearly know the targets that you are going to have. And when you know the target you're going to have, you have the target that you have, then you plan properly on how you're going to tackle that place. We have had joint operations. Joint operations where we engage other security agencies and we work together with them. So I think that one has helped us. Number two is the tax education. We have partnered, of course, with tax education and PCA and to engage the community and teach them on their obligations, tax obligations. Teach them the danger, just like I've been asking you, the dangers of smuggling. Talk about the benefits of paying taxes. We have had several engagements and barazas. Tax education. Enlightening them on what them as governments, as patriotic governments, what they need to do. So I think through those engagements, people have actually understood what URA is doing. They have understood their business, how they're supposed to be doing their business. We have seen very many people coming to our offices, to register, to have teams, to formalize, and of course that has helped. Then the engagements with the leadership, leaders, sector-based engagements. I think that they have also helped us. And through tax education and these engagements, we have also been informed. We've gotten information on illicit trade and smuggling, and we have come in. Actually, some of them have the volunteer information. They tell us, come and check this store. I saw them putting these things last night. I think they're doing something wrong. And you go there and find them. So tax education, engagement with the community, the approach of institution have helped us a lot in becoming institution.
You've talked about the 3 E's.
Yes.
I've clearly had the E of enforcement, but one that is intelligence led.
Yes.
I've clearly had the E of education.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So they do something, but without prior knowledge of what they're doing is actually, you actually talked about it.
Actually,
Someone
on that one, we have seen people who know, but these people who don't know. You get it? You are driving your car. You're coming from maybe, let me ask you an example. Maybe a driver or a fleet of a company. He has taken people to Arua, and he's going back to Kampala. It is his first time to come. The person who has the goods, he knows. The owner of the goods knows. But the driver of this vehicle doesn't know. We have had these cases. And the man drives, he reaches safe
Very comfortably.
Very confidently, without even speeding. He reaches the checkpoint and they stop. They check, they find cigarettes. And they have to impound the vehicle. The vehicle is, say, URA vehicle, it is a ministry vehicle, and it has to go through the normal channel of offense management. So we have people who know, and we have people who genuinely do not know.
Simon, what is your message? Because we're about to wrap up this point. What is your message to that person who is living in this region, East Nile or West Nile, and the temptation is there? The cultural, misdirection is there. And then this person is starting to nurse the idea of, I think, what do you have for us?
Of course, temptations are there. Like I said, when you cross South Sudan here, you find the tin of milk is 70,000. Pardon me. Here in Uganda, it's about maybe 100 or 120. So the incentive is there. First of all, is to know that you are Ugandan. And you have to be a patriotic Ugandan. Live within the laws of your country. Understand what your country wants. Understand the mode of doing business in your country, and live like a Ugandan. Follow the law. Of course, the message I have for that person is not to try to join the group which does illicit trade because of the dangers that we've talked about. We talked about loss of capital, we talked about injuries and all that. These people live a very dangerous life. We have had cases where we have put some, like ambushes on the waterside in the night. Someone swims.
Come again?
Someone swims with the here in Onyama, in Onyama River and whatever. People have died trying to cross with smuggled goods. So we tell them, our message is don't endanger your life. Don't endanger your life and put your family at stake. Be a patriotic Ugandan. Follow the law. Understand the business. We are here to teach them. We are here to visit them. We are here to educate them. And we shall continue to do that. So the message is that any Ugandan who wants to do business should follow the law, should follow the procedures of customs, should follow the procedures of domestic taxes, should understand his business, and should come to URA offices anywhere in the region and anywhere in the country, and we explain to them what they need to know.
Thank you so much, Simon. It's been an honor hosting you on this podcast.
You're welcome.
I look forward to having you a lot more.
You're welcome.
You heard it from the man himself. He said, follow the law. If you do not follow the law will follow you. You don't want to be on the wrong side of the law, especially when it comes to trading. The idea is you do the right thing, you trade enjoyably, and you enjoy the best that URA has to offer, especially when it comes to trade facilitation. You don't want to interact with Simon. You just want to interact with the other manager.
We can interact. We can interact and follow the
100%. That's too much.